Hello, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is A Conversation in Jazz, where we are promoting jazz through telling the stories. Our guest today is the classy jazz, blues, gospel, contemporary, and soul vocalist, educator, and Howard University graduate, Miss Sendy Brown. We ask you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so we can let you know when we are posting another video or going live. We also ask you to donate to our Cash App in order to support the channel and help us to produce future videos. Our Cash App is $Jazzology 101. That's $Jazzology 101. Enjoy the video. Hi, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is A Conversation in Jazz. Today, we have one of the most classiest, soulful, and diverse vocalists on the DC music scene today. Her musical style blends several different genres of music, including jazz, blues, gospel, contemporary, and soul. She is a mother, educator, minister of music, and graduate of Howard University. Please welcome my good sister, the one and only Miss Sendy Brown.
Wow.
Sendy, how you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Good.
That's a great introduction. Thank you.
Welcome to A Conversation in Jazz, where we learn the story behind the story.
Okay.
You know, I know we met at Howard University somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know if it was in the Fine Arts building or it was in Black Near Force. You was in Black Near Force, right?
I was.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I think
you remember?
I remember that before I knew you, I knew about you because your reputation preceded.
Oh, boy.
You lived up to it. You have such a great sound. And you would, I think the first time I saw you, you were standing on the steps of the Fine Arts building playing saxophone.
Yeah.
That might have been the first time.
Okay.
And, you passed by and you're like, who's that?
Yeah.
You might have been the reason I got into fine arts because when I came to Howard, I actually was in the School of Communications. I felt like in high school I was a good English student, and I was a top English student. And I was like, if I put that, they will accept me to Howard. And I did my regular courses, the first, those foundational courses. And then I realized I didn't really want to do radio, TV, or film. And when I went to fine arts to see people just being themselves and doing music like they love it so much, I resonated. I was like, that's me. I'm them.
Yeah.
So you might have made me switch schools.
Yeah, because we used to play right out inside in front of the Fine Arts building.
And you had a crowd.
Yep, and I used to play at the flagpole. And,
yes.
Yeah, some good days.
Yes, and so that was like,
we're going to get into some of that. All right, cool. My first question, who is Sendy Brown?
Well, that's complex and ever-changing. So the things that define me right now, being a wife and mother is a huge part of who I am. I really love my children. I have 4 children. I've been married to Kwesi Brown for a lot of years now. We're coming up almost on 30 together.
30 years?
Almost.
Get out of here.
That's really true.
Wow.
I just told him, I was going to sleep and I thought about it and I just reached for us and I said, we said we'd stay together and we did. And he said,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And you're also a wonderful vocalist. You're one of my favorite vocalists.
Thank you.
And to me, I think I know people know you inside the music community, but I just feel that you should be more known because you like they say a diamond in the rough. It's like,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you one of those. I mean, you have singers great singers, but you have a quality like the spirit, like you coming from somewhere. Probably your upbringing, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, well,
but I always dug like you know how to go and deep and get the the depth of where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's what I try to do. Yeah. Actually, that's my approach, and it does have a lot to do with my upbringing. But it's how I also interpret music. It's like I feel like you should for me, what music does to me, you should feel. It helps you feel your humanity and helps you solve problems and get over issues. And so when you're singing that kind of thing to people. Yeah. To help them, you know, and for me, that's, you know, when I'm sad or when I'm feeling any kind of way, song is my friend. It's like, I'm like, we're having conversation, music and me, and saying, you know, this is what's happening in my life. Help me out. So I really do that. So I'm appreciative that you see and feel that. That means it's coming across.
And not only me, we perform together many times.
Yes.
And the audience, it comes over in the audience.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we did some church stuff together. We, you know.
That's right. Yeah. We did. Yes.
Recently, we were at the
Leisure World.
Leisure World, and we got another thing. They loved you.
And I loved them.
Yeah.
It was such an interesting thing to look out into the audience, and it was striking to me that at Leisure World, that audience is amazing. At Leisure World, there was no phone in the air. There was no like glare from the phones. Yeah. When you play for certain audiences, especially younger audiences, it's all the phones. You can see them. Yeah. And that audience, everyone sat there and they were really listening. And they were contributing their spiritual part of it. Like they were so into it. And it was just so gratifying to play for them. The room felt great. Because everybody was in the moment instead of capturing the moment. Does that make sense?
And we were talking earlier about, you say you feel like you from another period.
Yes.
And like you said, you like antiques. And,
yes.
And so could you relate to that audience we were performing?
I definitely could relate to the audience because this was their music. This is what they liked. And they're used to live music and what it means to them. Yeah. And they showed that. They showed appreciation. The way they clapped, the way they were into it. And then afterwards, I met someone, the Howardites, HU, this lady who went to school not with Felicia Rashad, but with Felicia Rashad's father.
Wow.
She was not, I took a picture of her. She was like 90, one of them was like 93 and the other was 94 or something. Wow. And to make that kind of connection, I definitely talked to them and took pictures with them and listened to what they said because I was raised and I believe that when older people are talking to you, it's a blessing.
No doubt.
If you can do something for them, that's a blessing. If they tell you some wisdom, even if you didn't like it, you've just been blessed. So I just felt in that crowd, that was my crowd. I really liked it. I really
and we
did.
will also talk, because we are into, and we're going to talk about your music, because your music just covers so many different styles and genres, and you do them all well.
Thank you.
And so, but we were talking about the fact that we are into jazz musicians, and we go back and try to capture music from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, you know.
Yes.
And the music of our time
as
well. And so,
that's what I do.
That's a heavy kind of thing because, you know, I remember when I got to Charlie Parker, and I would read on his life.
Yes.
I felt like I was in that period, that time. I could feel what they were going through in that time. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
You know? And then, you know, we was in Black Near Force into the 60s and into the Blackity Black. And, you know, you're going back to get the spirit of those times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the good things about those times. Yeah. So for me, with music, you got caught in the loop of Charlie Parker. It was a few loops I got caught in. The first one was Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
Because when I heard her, I started with her last recording, which, you know, her voice changes so much because of her situation. And so I was just, this is the weirdest music. Like, what? And then I started to try to sing along, and I couldn't.
Wow.
Because of her timing. She has a certain way that she lays her phrases out, and I couldn't do it. And that fascinated me. And I was like, there's more to singing than I think. Like, I'm a church girl. I sing these songs, and they clap for me. And I can't do that. And then I'm a person, if I can't do that, that's going to bother me until I can.
Gotcha.
And in singing, like trying to capture her essence, like her, how does she approach a song? I started singing very much like her. Yeah. For a vocalist, that's kind of a mistake because, right. I mean, you do learn from the people, but at a certain point, you have to let them go. So I would only listen to her, and I would phrase like her. I'd slur my words like her. I'd do all the things. And one of my friends was like, oh, my father loves jazz. He'll love you. And she called him up and let me sing to him. And he was like, that's really nice, but Billie Holiday already exists. You have to be you and find your voice. And I don't know who that man is, but I know he said a mouthful. And he set me on a journey to try to go find what is my sound, who is who is Sendy Brown. When I'm singing, I have to come from the place of me. That's the unique thing that I have that no one else has.
Yes.
My experience, how I really feel, what my heart is like, and the timbre of my voice and how I cultivate my tone. Then those are the things that are important as a musician.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it was Billie Holiday, and then I realized that she learned a lot from Louis Armstrong. And then I got way into Louis Armstrong.
Wow. Yeah.
And so everybody's into bebop and they're into this, and I'm way back here with Louis Armstrong hanging out with the shot.
Yeah.
But it taught me something so important is that like simplicity is exquisite. The thing I love about Louis Armstrong is that he knows how to take that one note and put it exactly where it goes in the song, where it's the best place to put it.
Yep.
That he's gonna hit that note and go up high. And there's something about his, people, because he smiles and because he makes jokes and because of his, these things that are attributed to him, they forget that he's a master.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot hit that note.
Yeah.
Trumpeters, mostly.
Yeah.
It's very hard. That his vibrato, his way of phrasing.
Yeah, they have subtleties and
Yes.
nuance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then his scatting. Don't
Yeah.
forget he
Oh, yeah.
sings.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the father of scat.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
just being able to think about even trying to do that. It just made me to be a very blues-based, very simplistic-based person and then build off that.
You know who else does that for me?
Who?
Nat King Cole. just to tell a story and carry placement and all that, and so you
Yes.
go. You have to respect those. They were students of music.
Oh, but Nat King Cole,
Yeah.
as a vocalist, you should. I mean, if I were giving advice to vocalists, listen to Nat King Cole, because Nat King Cole will sing the song as written on the paper. He does not have to do a bunch of fronts.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to show you that he can unforgettable.
Yeah.
And the tone is going to drive you mad. Like his tone is beautiful. His enunciation, everyone. Like I learned from him, say the words so people can hear it. They want to enjoy the song.
Yeah.
Sing the words. And he sings them so clearly. But you can achieve everything within the parameters of the song.
Wow.
My son is an artist and he talks about a limited palette. That he would draw a picture and only use 3 colors. And it's very challenging because then you have to blend the colors a different way. You can't use everything to tell the story of this picture.
Wow.
You can only use these 3 colors. So then if you can only stay inside of that, you have to be much more creative.
Wow.
And so that's the thing that Nat King Cole does. He's not going on. He's singing the straight song in the most beautiful way. You can't beat it. You cannot beat the Christmas song from him. You can't beat certain songs. You just can't.
Yeah. Saying more with less.
Yes,
Yeah.
that. And so it's fun to say more with more and be a maximalist sometimes. But I wanted to be a singer who could sing straight, then just sing the tone and be on key and hold the tone with my breath and support it and have a beautiful tone. Like when you're an instrumentalist, you know your sound has to be this and that, and you worked on it. And so as a vocalist, I think and that's something that I work on, is my tone. I want to just be able to sing straight and just make a small tear come to someone's eye.
You still working on your voice?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I had to work on it too because COVID, when you don't sing, your breathing is crazy. You're not on key because it takes muscles. It takes your strength to do that. So I had to go and work out before my last show, just breathing and holding my breath and exhaling slowly and trying to be on pitch and get all the stamina back. And then your mind connecting to your voice, that I can think of this thing I want to do if I'm scatting, but now I have to get my voice to catch up with that again.
Wow.
Because sometimes there's a disconnect and you're slow. It's a second late, you know?
Wow.
And so, always working on my tone, working on my phrasing. Right now I'm working on my scatting and the theory that goes behind it. Like, you have books on this that you've written, and it would serve me well to probably read them and do the things. So just stuff like that. I really want to be better, and I really want to exceed where I am now. And, like, you can be satisfied with yourself. And people say, oh, you sound so good. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And I could just sit there and, okay, I'm done. That's it. But I really want to reach for more. I want to be better with all my improvisation. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, just how I approach and how I'm thinking about a song, that I'm serving the people who are listening, and I'm respecting the composer, you know? And
so you have an intimate relationship with the lyrics?
Very much so. Yeah, okay. I analyze lyrics.
Now, you know what's crazy? Because I play an instrument, certain songs I'm going to get me, but I have to force myself to hear the. Sometimes I don't even hear the word. I hear the melody.
I see. Yes.
But I'm learning how beautiful some of these lyrics are. Yeah, I'm learning like the just the way you can say so many things using words.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
And what Grady, okay, so I at Howard, Grady Tate was there, and one of the things he talked a lot about that influenced me was that how to interpret a song. And he talks about, first of all, read the song off the sheet, because you cannot learn a song from other people.
Wow.
You have to learn the song like if you do that with Duke Ellington.
They need to pay you for that.
You have to sit down with the song. And thankfully, Howard makes you do these things, because I can sit down with the song and play through the melody, play through some of the chords, or play through the whole chords, and see what's there, and learn the song from the sheet. When you do that, sometimes you find that like there's this really nice verse on the beginning of songs that no one sings anymore, but it's there. You like the nearness of you. There's a whole little verse before it actually starts.
Wow.
Why do I just wither and forget all resistance when you and your magic pass by? Nobody sings that though.
Wow.
But I like to find it and then sing that part if
Okay.
possible, because it's like you talk about these gems of songs. Yeah, what's written is a lot of times is a gem. When I Fall in Love, the chord structure with the first 8 measures is genius.
Yes.
It's people think they know that, but it's not like you think. It's
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So for me, it's learning the words, learning the melody as it is, singing it down the first time, the way that it's written, to respect that this is how the song actually goes.
Yeah.
But then see, when you're a preacher's daughter, you know that you have to emphasize words, and you know what I mean? I used to sit at my father's feet and write his sermons. He would dictate to me and I would write them. That really helped me. He made me very literate, and he made me have that dramatic sense of pausing, and of vocal inflection, and the rise and fall of your voice, intonation. And so when I'm reading the lyrics, I usually pick this song because it means something to me.
Gotcha.
And there's going to be a word that I'm probably going to circle and say, this is the one.
Really?
This word right here,
Wow.
you got to do something with this. This phrase.
Just from reading it.
Well, yeah, because what is the song about?
Yeah.
It's thematic. It's what is this about? What is it trying to capture? And what is the feeling of this? And the last time we did, you don't know what love is. And you don't know what love is until you've had this, that, and that, and that, and that happen. Have you had that happen? You might not know what you're talking about. If you say I love you, might not. If you haven't flipped your heart and you have lost, if you didn't put it all out there and get it rejected. So you know what I mean? Until you flipped your heart, might be the word.
Yes.
And you have lost. And just how do you sing those words?
Been there, done that.
Right? So
I could just feel that in the melody.
Yes.
That song resonates with me. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Me too.
And them lyrics. Woo. Yeah, you laying it down today. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning. Okay?
Yes.
Now, where are you originally from?
From is hard for me. My father and my entire...
You from where?
I said from is hard for me. My father and my extended family are from Florida, and it's very southern and Floridian.
Okay.
Specifically Floridian, because that's a different kind of South. But, so I have those... That's in my house, the southernness.
You were born in Florida?
I was born in Sanford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
where
little
were you
small
raised?
town by the water. 6 months old, though, I go to Jersey. So I'm a Jerseyan, saying Jersey and dog and walk and stroll and talk.
What part of Jersey are you from?
Jersey City, right across from New York City.
Oh, wow.
I'm at the top part, exit 14A.
So coming up, did you go hang out in New York?
I actually did. I shouldn't have been some of the time.
Yeah. You got a little of that New York in your accent. Yeah.
So I kind of sanded it out a little bit, but if I get angry, or if I talk to my friends from there, my friend Tammy, if I talk to her, she's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fine." And then we start talking like this, you know. So, so you could see New York, you could see the Twin Towers when they existed, right, almost from my house. It's a huge influence. It's easier for me to get to downtown Manhattan than someone who lives in Brooklyn. Wow. Right? It's closer. We take the PATH train. But it doesn't have the chaos of New York, being in Jersey, small town. And I like Jersey City.
What was it like coming up in Jersey City?
Things I liked about it later that I didn't know I appreciated. One, you could walk everywhere because it's a city.
Were you from the hood?
I was on the hill.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't think that was the hood. I didn't never feel like I was in any danger. Danger happened later when crack came to everywhere.
Yeah, we came up in a different town.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because even if you weren't like the most well-off person, you didn't feel like danger. There wasn't a bunch of fighting. I didn't come up in that at all.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I can say that. My block, all the children played. I lived on a dead-end street, and it was like one of those TV movies where all the children play together.
Yep.
And I was one of the youngest ones, so we, I remember Derek and Larry being the guys, the big guys, and we would do stuff like play football in the snow.
Yeah. Oh my God! Come on now. We that's what we did.
Yes.
We played football in the snow.
It's so brutal. I love it.
I'm trying to tell people we had a community.
Oh yes.
You knew that your friends, how many such and such, Mr.
Yes.
Such, they would hang out in the street and watch the kids and
sit on the porch.
We play stick ball.
Oh, stick ball.
Put up crates and nail them to the pole.
And have basketball. Did you play Scully?
Scully?
I think you did because you talked about it. You draw the things on the
square.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
With
tops,
yes. Yep, and you put the tar in it.
You have to scrape it out and then put pennies in there or candle wax. We be making those tops like it was yes. And so I remember that. I remember Double Dutch. I was more I did the girl things, but I was what people then called a tomboy. I was an active nature-loving girl. Yeah. Because I would climb trees. I would catch frogs. I would do bunny hops on my bike and jump off of they put the little ramp there and you jump off and you're doing your bike, the bikes and stuff. I would do that. I would race guys. I would play Three Flies Up. Wow. I would love tackling people.
Is it still like that now?
I'm a ruffian still.
Huh?
I'm still a ruffian.
No, yes. I'm saying, is it in your neighborhood still the same way? Or has it changed? My neighborhood changed.
I can still go on my block and some of those same people are there.
Okay.
Only difference, like, it's still their mothers and fathers are there. And I'll be like, how's Monica? How's Rhonda? How's Cindy? Milan? I'm thinking of all the people on my block. Gilly. Oh. Yeah. It was nice. It was really Kelly, my friend Kelly.
We had some fun.
Yes.
That was a great time.
Yes.
I tell people, man.
I was very protected and taken care of.
Really? Okay, yeah.
I felt in my community, I felt embraced and loved by everybody all the time. Beautiful. And that was beautiful because I'm the youngest of my family. So my father used to sing to me and they all would sing me songs about me with my name in them. And that was nice. On the block, I'm one of the youngest ones. So when you play football and slow with the older guys, they will throw you down and put snow in your hood and pack it in the side. And you're crying and stuff. But they also would protect you. And I was trying to run away because I broke something. One of those boys grabbed me before I ran into the street. Wow. And so there was that. And then Jersey is very small. So it was a place that a lot of people knew a lot of people. You know what's going on. You know everybody. You went to school with people and you keep seeing them in different iterations throughout town. You get good Italian food because it's New York. So real pizza. Yeah. Oh yeah. Really. You're from Philly. Yeah. So you know about Italian food.
Oh yeah.
And South Philly. See, okay. And so just those, I like the cultural influences up there. I liked being able to get knishes and stuff and bagels and stuff too and going to a real delicatessen. Like, yeah. My father being a preacher at that time in Jersey, he was very well known, which means everything I did was also very well known. That was protective, but also kind of suffocating. Like, you can't do anything. I walked a different way home one time than I usually did, and like 3 people called my father. Wow. She's walking on the Ave. She was on. She was
so
out there.
Your dad was a preacher?
Yes.
Wow. What was it like being a preacher's daughter?
I love my father. And I love what my father does. And that's that. There's no.
Was he strict?
He was, but my dad is still alive.
Okay.
My dad's like I don't know. He's a GOAT dad, like greatest of all time, honestly.
Good.
I owe so much to my father, I can't even put it into words.
And that's probably why you've always had a positive.
It's my father.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And here's why. My father was many things I know. Mm-hmm. One of the things he was, though, is he was a motivator of my mother.
He was a motivator of your mother?
She didn't think she was college material, and he said to her, no, you are going back to college, because how smart you are, how smart the mother is how smart the children are. Ooh. And if you don't do that, they won't think they can do it.
Wow.
I'll watch the children, don't worry about it. So my beginning of my life was spent with my father. He didn't put me to daycare. He just took me everywhere with him. I would wake him in the morning, wait for him to wake up, watch Captain Kangaroo. And he would wake up, and then we would start our day, and he would take care of me in every way. And now I didn't understand then that a lot of women, to be raised by your father and be around men and you can trust them. I didn't think that was a thing.
Wow.
But it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And so no harm came to me. I could embrace this man and love him so much.
You had siblings?
And they were in school. And I was home.
You was the baby?
Yes. So we would pick them up.
Was it all girls? Or?
Oh, my sister, my brother, and me.
Okay.
And so I was the surprise child when you thought you were done, but surprise!
Wow.
And so, but going with my father to the ministerial alliance meetings, going to weddings, going to funerals, I would go with him to the hospital and pray for the sick. It's all these people and the older people and me with my little hands praying for this person. And I saw my father do service to other people every day of his life. Yeah. And he's still that way. And it made it so that things had to have a meaning for me. Yeah. That you can't just be here doing stuff. You have to be doing stuff that makes things better. You have to be doing stuff that helps people.
Yeah.
That God helps you. And your strength is God. And people do stuff and don't worry about it. Just keep being. My father is extremely positive. My father, if you say, I don't think, or I can't, or I hope, he will correct you and make you change it. Yeah. Like if I say, I'm not good, he was like, who are you? What do you say? You say, I am good. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I am good. Say, I can do it. Yeah. Okay, I can do it. But that kind of thinking.
Where's he from? Is he from the South?
He's from Jacksonville. He's from Florida.
Okay.
And he's like, he said, I was poor enough for all of us. You don't have to worry about that. I got you out of that. And I came up, we didn't have anything. And by the grace of God, if you want to hear the best sermon, it's going to be about his life and how he came from where he came from. But by the grace of God, he became who he became.
Wow.
Now that sermon, he would preach that in his house in the bathroom in the middle of the night. I would wake up and my father be in there preaching and praying.
Wow.
That's so hard. It'll bring tears to your eyes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He'd be hitting the sink.
Yeah.
And my room was on the other side of the sink. And he'd be like, oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, God. And all this. And that's why, like, sometimes people know if people are real or not. But my father, I've heard him talk to God like a true friend. Yeah. Which let me know that God could be a true friend. Yeah. I'm very thankful for my dad.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes. All the things that he taught me, all of that. And then his voice. My dad is a preacher. Yeah. My dad is a Southern preacher. He was the old school.
He was, born for it.
My father started preaching. His first sermon was right before his 12th birthday. Really? My father started preaching when he was pretty much just 12 years old.
So he was called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The story is that he was a 9-year-old and he knew he was supposed to preach, but he liked fighting and he liked cap guns and he liked fighting. But my father was preaching when he was little. He'd beat you up if you didn't sit there and listen to him preach. Those neighborhoods, can we go home now, Papa? Yeah. No. And then the Lord said. And so all of that, you know, they talk about it now. He just retired from preaching. My father's been preaching longer than people have been alive. He was preaching, I think it was 63 years, 60 something. Wow. A long time. And so, but they talked about how they used to have to sit up there all day and listen to him preach. And then he finally, he wouldn't preach, and then he got sick. And he said God told him, it's preach or die. Like, you are mine. If you do this, then fine. If not, then I'll just take you back. Wow. So then he started preaching.
That's why I believe, you know, especially when it comes to our community, it's those values.
Oh, yes.
It's going to help us, get knowledge, learn who you are, but them values.
Yes.
Because, I had that from my mother and my grand.
Really?
They're from the South, so I got that Southern. I'm from Philly, but I got that my grandmother's from Alabama.
Well, that's the black experience. You
Yeah.
moved up from the South.
But it was the value. Even when I'm doing wrong,
Yes.
I know I'm doing wrong. And I'm gonna feel, and if I get caught doing wrong, I'm gonna feel a certain way.
Yes, you're gonna feel pain.
Yeah. And we're at a time. I'm telling you, some people they can do wrong and they don't feel anything. They don't feel. It's just like. So those values, I think, is what is going to save our community.
And that's the feeling that you're talking about. It's like,
Yeah.
I have 4 children.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and teaching them good values.
But that was the
respecting
thing.
like you say, I learned so much as a kid listening to the old heads.
You have to be quiet enough to listen.
Yeah.
You can't be. You have to be around and be in the room and just be quiet.
Man, some of these youngins today,
They're
you
gonna
know,
tell you everything.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and it's yeah.
And
So-
then as parents, I was knowing that I couldn't keep, especially with the internet and phones, I can't keep them from doing everything. I kept them from a lot of things I tried to. But the thing I knew is that I have, if from my experience, I have influence. I'm their parent. So I can let them know that I don't approve of that. Mm-hmm. This is right and that is wrong by my actions and by my reactions to things that they do. Mm-hmm. That's my job. Mm-hmm. Or by what I will and won't listen to.
Yeah.
What I like in the car, what are we listening to?
Yeah.
It can't be this, because then I can't come back and tell them not to do such and such later.
No doubt.
And so they have to have a compass, and you set that compass by just setting these, like in our house, we don't do that. Mm-hmm. Now you can go out there, but in our house, there's none of that. We're not going to curse at you. We're not going to, you're going to see your father and your mother yelling at each other with all of their might. You're just not going to see it. We don't, you know what I mean? There's certain things we just don't do.
That's right.
And then when they go out in the world, they're going to try stuff, but the way you were raised, it's that feeling you get when you know, I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
I crossed the line.
Yeah.
But the child needs that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least if you cross the line, you know you crossed it.
Yeah.
I'm doing bad currently.
Yeah.
It's bad.
What did your mom do?
My mother, God bless her, she passed away 2 years ago. Last January, 2 years ago. My mother was a teacher.
She was
an
a teacher?
extraordinary teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like walking in the building with her when you had those days when you go to school with your mother was like, it's like Mary Poppins. She was like that, but with better clothes. Okay. Like just people students just followed her and flocked to her, and they loved her. And she was what they used to have, a home economics teacher. Would teach you how to manage your budget, how to do bank account, how to wash clothes, cook, clean, how to sew. And her forte was 2 things. She could cook like, oh my gosh, I can still taste my mother's cooking in my mind.
Really?
And yeah, I have those recipes too. I'm not as good as some of them, but
okay.
She taught me how to throw down. Play that tune. She helped me get married, because when I cooked that food for my husband, he looked at me like this.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So it was the look of love. He's like, so if I marry her, I can have this food all the time. So, okay. But my mother could cook, and my mother could really, really sew. She was very into fashion and design. And that's something that I think...
You picked that up?
Oh, yeah. Because we would pick out prom dresses out of Vogue magazine. You go in there and you look and you pull a picture out, and she'll make that for you. She could do that.
She would see and make something for you?
Look at the picture and make a pattern out of newspaper and then make that dress.
Wow.
She did that all the time. That's why when you saw my mother walk into a room, she's the person who, some women can stop a room. Everybody's talking and stuff, and then she walks in and everybody goes like this.
Yeah.
You have to catch what this outfit is now doing. This hat, these gloves, this thing right here, the shoes, the bag, the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so she was very into style. And she was very good at sewing. She's a seamstress who could look at a person and know their body type. She would talk about it all the time. She's like, that woman is long-waisted. It's hard for her to get clothes. Or she's a size 6. But she, and then she'll say, I'm going to make her an outfit. And then she would. And that would become her client, because this woman could never find clothes to fit because of the shape of her body.
Wow.
And my mother would say, I should always sew for you. Your clothes should fit like you were born in them.
She had a gift.
Yes. Yeah. And for color and for texture. And cloth. So when I look at fabrics, I'll be, oh, that's a Georgette. Oh, okay. So now we're doing a chenille or this or that. I can always know what these things are.
Wow.
Silk charmeuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm into it.
Wow.
I like fashion. It's hard for me to just wear anything. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to. It has to have something to it.
Yeah. Got
And
that from your mom.
Yes. And so she was really good with children. She was a person who would look at children on their level and listen to them and be into what they're into and pull out the best of them. And as a teacher, I learned that from her. It's the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
She would look a child in the eyes and say, so what is happening? And so why are you doing that? Well, don't you know you're really something? She said that to me. I wish I could be like you. You're so interesting. And I'm like, me?
Wow.
And she's like, you're doing this and it's great and it's great. When I would sing, my mother would be in the front row and she would look at me with that look of just, you're amazing.
Really?
I'm so happy to be here listening to you. You
So
know what I mean?
grew up with great self-esteem.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It strengthened me.
Yeah.
They both believed in yourself. Like God through you. Like
Did your siblings capture that from your parents as well?
I think so.
Okay.
But I think as the last child, the benefit is you look at everybody else's mistakes and be like, so that did not work out. Don't do that. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
And so I think the last child has a different kind of wisdom, you know? And we know our parents as older people. And they've mellowed.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay.
I got that. And I didn't know until my mother passed away and became an ancestor that I actually come from a family of teachers. I thought she was just only a teacher. But I have aunts and different people who are educators and educated and all of that stuff down her side of the family. I didn't know a lot about them.
Oh, wow.
You know? I didn't know I had the uncles that I had. You find out so many things at the funeral. It was like a Tyler Perry movie.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, funny, but like sad. But like the things I found out at her death, I didn't know all of her life. I did not know.
You didn't know?
I didn't know those things about my mother.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Until people said, "Oh, you know, your mother was like this."
Wow.
Oh, she, you know, my mother was a great dancer too. So I like dancing, and it's probably because of her. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful.
But my mother's artistic, and I think that I can draw and stuff, and she could too. And her artistic sense really came through.
So, do you come from a musical family?
Oddly, I'm the one who sings.
Really?
I would tell you that my father and his voice, his timbre, when I listened to my CD I did years ago, one song I was like, that's my dad.
Wow.
My bluesy, churchy way that I can pull out anytime I want to is definitely my father's style of preaching.
So did you study music formally coming up, or was the voice your first instrument?
My voice was my first instrument. Okay, so my church, Mount Olive Baptist Church in Jersey City, I didn't know this. Do you know, like in African American history, how there were all these singing groups, these going around singing groups on the Chitlin Circuit, Dixie Hummingbirds, the Southerners, the this, the that. There were a lot of people in my church who were in such kinds of groups and sang professionally. So on Sunday, our singing, that whole church could sing.
Wow.
And we would sing the old style way where you clap your hand and pat your feet, line a hymn. That is an education.
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
So you just came up singing?
Yeah. My earliest memory as a child is me singing with my brother on one side and my sister on another. And we're singing a song called Pass It On. And I saw the light of the chandelier in the church and the light of these people looking at me. And I'm singing. And I felt the feels.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
And you could always sing?
Yeah. Yes.
You didn't have to learn how to sing?
Nobody taught me like that at that age, no.
Okay.
My mother, when she saw that I could sing, the church though, those front row, those deaconesses and the people in the church will let you know when you're doing it right and when you're not.
Yeah.
And I had Lily Adams, I had Ann Fouch, I'm naming people you don't know, but I copied off them how to lead a song.
Wow.
I copied Lily Adams, open her mouth so wide and hit these notes.
What you call that when you study with somebody? What's that word? I can't find it.
What?
Apprenticeship.
That was my apprenticeship.
Yeah,
I'm in the choir and I'm trying to be like them.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to voice like them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my mother did, when I was 12 and I'm singing, she got me lessons and she had somebody working with my voice and I did a concert and she worked at it and it was an all full, sold out type of thing that she would do these events. She loved doing these events as a pastor's wife. And she would cook for everyone and then she'd magically turn around 3 times and have a beautiful outfit on and then host it and then talk. And then she'd do weird things, like, not weird, but interesting things. She always memorized poems and she'd speak them. You know, isn't it strange that princes and kings and clowns to caper and sawdust rings and common folk like you and me are builders of eternity. And she'd start off a talk like that. So I got that from her too. I memorized stuff I like.
Wow.
So she would get me the voice lessons, and I sang in church, and I got an inkling that my voice was different. Like people liked it. I would sing in school, and my teacher's like, you have a really fine voice. Or I was singing one time at a rehearsal in church, and people walking by, they came in off the street.
Wow.
And they were like, oh, who is? They looking, the door's open. They're like, oh, who is that though? And I started being like, maybe I have something. Maybe my voice, maybe. And then just going to Howard, like I said, I started out in communications, but then went over into fine arts.
Wow.
And I started learning how to hit those high notes. I didn't think of myself as just only a gospel singer. I didn't think of myself as a jazz singer. I didn't know what that was.
Wow.
I didn't think of myself as a classical singer. I had Matter Will the Downs as a teacher. How much better can it get?
Yeah.
When you open up a history book and she's in it.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? At the Museum of Natural of African American History and Culture, she's on the wall.
Wow.
I went there, I was like, that's my teacher.
Wow.
Whom I ran away from because I didn't want to sing classical music. So yeah, but Howard was like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So your teachers were who at Howard, right?
Yeah.
Rapard Stone.
Dr. Stone. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All those
Great
folks,
teachers.
they were great teachers.
So you would sing for the church, like you would coming up.
I always sang.
Were you ever nervous?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You think that if you're a performer, you're not shy. That's not true. I don't know about you. You seem very extroverted.
Well, I can hide behind the instrument.
Right?
But you got to get up there and talk to the audience and sing wow.
Those were steps for me. That was something I had to learn to do now. I'm a preacher's daughter, and I always was in the public eye. I was always called upon to stand in front of people or say something or be on the dais or, represent my father because I represented him always, all the time, everywhere. And he said, I built my reputation. Don't ruin my name.
Wow.
Please. Your name is all you have. And I tried to really do that for him. You can't do a lot of stuff as a preacher's daughter. I've gone into parties and the whole party stopped because I'm the preacher's daughter.
Get out of here.
Oh, the Holy One is here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, there's that. Okay, well. So a part of me forming myself was definitely leaving from the immense shadow of my father in both cities, in Jersey, and then when he went back home to Jacksonville.
Wow.
I'll never be Sendy. I'll always be Murray's daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Past the, people do a lot of nice things for him and by extension me, but it's him. He's helped so many people in his life and he's done so many things.
Yeah.
He showed me that you can make a whole difference in a community, in a school, in a city. Because he did so many things. He got streets renamed. He got sidewalks put down when he got the church in Jacksonville, there was no sidewalks. And he says, this is a disgrace. These people need a sidewalk. He called the city, and next thing I know, sidewalks are there.
Wow.
So it's like you don't have to be Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X. You can just be you and make things happen.
No doubt.
So I'm thankful for that, for him. But I had to leave because then I could be Sendy. And make a name for myself.
Gotcha.
So if I have a name as a vocalist, it's something that I built. That's me. Yeah. You see.
Wow.
And so that I like.
Yeah. So did music come easy for you?
Yes.
It did. You have perfect pitch.
I don't. I have very good relative pitch though.
Okay. You are. I know you have very good ears.
That I rely on them.
Huh?
I rely on them.
Okay. Yeah.
They pull me through. Howard, it was very good because they make you learn theory.
Yeah.
They make you know stuff. Yeah. Like I know black composers to this day because what's the man's name? James.
Mr.
He
Norris.
was the dude. Norris.
Dr. Norris.
Made us write the whole book of every black composer.
Yeah.
So if I see a name, I'm like, that's a black composer.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, okay, musically, my brother and sister took piano. I couldn't take it because I was too little. But then I could hear what they were doing, and I would go to our piano, and play what they played. I could hear it. I'll find the note.
Gotcha.
And I'll find the chord, and I'll play what they played.
Wow.
And that was before I was probably 5. And so I could play the Star Spangled Banner. I could play stuff off TV. I could play different things that I would hear. I could play it. Yeah. And so I liked piano, and I took it. But here's the thing for me.
You took piano also coming up?
I didn't learn to read music really because I found the cheat code. If I get the piano player to play a song,
then you can.
I'll just play what she did and pretend like I'm reading. Here's me looking.
Yeah.
I'm not looking. I don't. That's hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the easy way.
Got them ears.
Yes. And so it wasn't until later on that I had to make myself like, don't look at your hands. Don't memorize it. read. You want to be a person who is literate in music. So I can read. My crowning moment was when one of my other Howard friends was like, "Oh, our vocalist got COVID for the holidays, and we need someone to come in and sing the Christmas songs." And I had to walk in sight unseen, look at that music for like a few minutes, and then sing it as the lead singer.
Wow.
And I did it.
Wow.
It's that high church music too.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, it's that
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
you know, and like one of my aspirations now is just to play piano and sing. And so I did as a minister of music for a while. I had to play all of the hymns, and I had to direct the choir, and I had to play the song all at once, and sometimes lead it because they didn't want to lead, and I did that. Now, how well I did that?
Yeah. But you did it.
But I did, and I can continue. So, so for me, a lot of my vocal training really was Howard. I credit my church with making me a great gospel singer. I can sing so they gave that to me.
Yeah.
And the blues. It's just church for me. It's just that's it. But then getting into these different jazz people, being around people like you, you really made me want to practice because you always were practicing and you were always getting better. And so there's an ethic. And Chris Dave was there at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He always practiced. He played so hard he broke the drumstick and kept playing.
Raven Angry.
Angry.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so people were working hard, and I noticed that instrumentalists work hard, but vocalists don't necessarily work hard. And so jazz was great because I wasn't in a class with vocalists. I was in a class with instrumentalists.
So you didn't have, but before how you didn't have it. You didn't say I want to be a singer. I want to be a vocalist. That wasn't your intention.
It could have been, but I liked cutting things open, so surgery, and I could have been like a brain surgeon.
Oh wow!
I liked finding out what's inside. I liked reading about that and various parts of the body and how systems work.
Wow!
I like that stuff. I watch surgery. They're on YouTube. You can watch surgeries.
Yeah.
I have watched surgeries.
Really? Oh,
that's just weird.
Okay,
but I do. And so and nature. And I would always be going to the park and like leaves and this plant and all that stuff. So I'm one of those people that if you have a cold, I can cure you with a tea. I have a tea for you.
Wow.
I can make you something. I make you something to go to sleep.
You got that grandma. You
got
got all that stuff.
It's my bag in my kitchen. I pull out that tray. What mama got for you, baby?
Oh yeah.
And take this and put that. Okay, I'm gonna do so I'll do that to my husband. I rub something on him and he'll stop coughing and I did my children like that. When my son had asthma, I was into the mullein and marshmallow and lobelia and eucalyptus and peppermint and making him tea so he didn't have to take the medicine. It would make him too hyper.
Yeah.
And steam him and do different things.
Wow.
I don't know. That's just something. I don't know. Maybe one of my ancestors is speaking to me, but
no doubt.
I definitely like that part of life too.
But coming through like middle school,
I sang.
You sang in the schools?
Yes. And I did concert, in the choir.
Okay.
I did all of that. But you're just in there singing.
Okay.
I loved it though.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to so many high schools. I went to St. Aloysius. I'm not a Catholic school person, y'all.
I went to Catholic school too.
I'm not.
Up to 8th grade. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm a public school person.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy the experience.
Really?
No.
I got a lot of good value. Go back to that value thing. We were taught to you couldn't be the stuff that they get away with now in the public school, you couldn't do that at Catholic school.
Yes. Here are the good things about Catholic school. I had a great music teacher because she taught us all of the Christmas carols. And I still remember all the words. And we would go and sing at nursing homes and this and that and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I remember singing at the lobby of the World Trade Center. We sang there.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. And those harmonies of how this part goes with that part and all these, I kept that. So that helped me. I had Mr. Zito in elementary school at school number 38 where I went. And music was just, we all get in there and we sit in those seats and he would put the thing on do you remember the transparencies? And he would put the words up there and we would sing. I know all Americana songs. Wow. I know Barry Manilow because he loved Barry Manilow.
Wow.
So we would Copacabana. We were singing, oh, Mandy, where you came and you gave. So it's just weird because music teacher, whatever he liked, he gave to us. Mr. Mendenhall at St. Paul's, he liked musicals, The Sound of Music. My brother came home singing every song, and so did I. And so it made me like that grand sound.
Yeah.
But my father also gave me a good musical education. He's like, children should listen to beautiful music. So when we would go to sleep, or when I was with him, he would always be playing this instrumental string music, the living strings, Mantovani. And I can still hear that stuff.
Yeah.
All these songs, I listen to Burt Bacharach. And for 0 to 5, that's what I listen to. And church.
Wow.
Edwin Hawkins, Aretha Franklin, Mahalia Jackson. But that holds the string orchestra with those orchestrations and all these harmonies. I think that's why my ears are how they are.
Now, we came up in the hip-hop generation. Would you listen to hip-hop, too?
I used to rap.
You used to rap?
I had a rap battle that was epic in my high school.
Wow.
I won. I
Really?
beat that guy. I won.
Wow.
It was me that day.
Okay.
My friend was doing the beat. I was like, hey. Yes. No.
Wow.
I used to rap every day. I used to write rhymes.
Yep. I remember when like it started.
Yep.
Hip hop, hip it to the hip,
hop it, you don't stop, rock it to the bang bang. It was so exciting. I got my boom box. Oh my gosh, I got my own boom box. And then I tried to get the Sugar Hill Gang, but instead I got Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five for Christmas. The cassette. The cassette.
Yeah.
And
Apache, jump on it. We had some fun.
And dancing. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And hip hop and the music behind hip hop and the beat.
Yeah.
And that influenced me too, because I am a hip hop kid and I like to be moved.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like because Rakim changed my life. It was all going one way, and then he came out and he said, "Hey, we don't have to do all of that."
Yeah.
LL is like, I'm sorry, you can't understand. He's jumping all up. He says there, whoa, hey, my deal. And then Rakim is like, thinking of a master plan.
Yeah.
Nothing but sweat inside my head.
Yeah.
He's down here. And I was like, I'm like him.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
In hip hop or whatever in life, we don't have to.
I loved it. I loved all. Because we would have house parties.
Yeah.
And I mean, when they put on that, I mean, certain song would just, a certain song they put on, and everybody get hyped. Them was the good old days.
Let me tell you something. I tried to explain because then we go into Howard, and then we're still in hip hop, and then it's getting really good.
Yeah.
Because at first it's starting out, and like if you look at old footage of hip hop, and you see Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, they're still disco. Because disco creates hip hop in a certain sense. We can't go to the disco. We have to have the block party. Discos is for Studio 54. It's for rich people, and they're doing this stuff. But we want a party, so we're gonna have the block party outside and plug the stuff into the light post. Have a party. I remember going to one of those.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I like about hip hop.
Okay, what you like?
And the same could be said for jazz.
Okay. Yes, I can. I see where you're going.
Before it got into the gangster and all that, we validated it because it wasn't the popular music at the time. We validated it in a community. We put on our own, whether it was a basement party, whether it's at the park, a block party. We had celebrities in the rap battles. And this person.
And then don't forget the popping and locking. Come on now.
Oh yeah. And don't
forget the graffiti.
The graffiti, all of it was a part of.
Tag.
Yeah. But we validated ourselves. We didn't. It was no hip hop Grammys at the time. It was all when they took it to all that other stuff became whatever.
There's the death of hip hop, really.
But what that informs me about is that when you validate yourself, not looking for somebody to pat you on the head and say good job all the time, and believe in your thoughts and ideas.
We created an art form.
The world will receive because hip hop is around the world, just like jazz. And that's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the history of African Americans.
Yeah, but somehow it turned into something else. It was communal. It was just something that we valid. I don't think people weren't even doing it for money.
Right.
It was just it was fun.
Right.
It was clout because I remember the rap battles.
You had to have the clout, yes.
Yeah, it was the rap battles, and then this cat could dance, this person could spit, and it was just all that.
Yes.
And so
it's quite incredible when you think about how hip hop started. Because, you know, in my house, we research these things. We watch documentaries all the time. My husband and I watch documentaries. And we just research stuff. And the interesting thing about hip hop, the reason why I love it is because it's just a testament to the creativity of young people, which must always be respected.
Yeah.
That's why, as a teacher, is one of my things.
Yeah.
These people know what you don't know. I mean, the old people know, but the young people know something that you don't know, and they understand in a way that you might not unless you watch and listen to them.
Yeah.
You have to. My students teach me so much.
Yeah.
So when hip hop is starting, it's at a really low point in America. There's an economic downturn. Unemployment at a record high, right? They're taking music out of schools. We're over here in the Bronx, and they're burning buildings to get the insurance money, and then people still live in these neighborhoods. It's black and brown people. It's the African Americans and Latinos, really. And they've taken all the music instruments away. You live in the most destitute situation, and you have it within yourself to create something beautiful.
Yeah.
Out of no instruments.
Yeah.
What other musical form has started with no instruments?
Yeah.
So we take a turntable and we take an electronic player of instruments and make it into an instrument.
Yeah. I mean, everything you want to, but that's what Bird did. You weren't supposed to play there was a time you couldn't play the tritone. That was called the devil in music.
Yes,
You know, and all
Diablo
that.
and Musica.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I find these parallels in jazz because Bird wanted to get away from just music being there. He was hearing some other stuff.
He figured out some
He was hearing some other stuff. And they would hook up and it created this thing called bebop.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing.
And the jazz, we called ourselves cats, and they called themselves dogs. And it's my dog. We called each other. We had nicknames.
Yes.
50 Cent, Bird. It's all
the same. We always do the same thing because we are always naming and defining ourselves within our community, and it shouldn't, and it needs to be respected. People at the same time try not to respect us, and then take what we do and try to figure out. They take it apart and try to learn how to do it, and then there's this terrible. It's bam! It's so bad. It's ghetto. It's awful. And then when they figure out how to do it, then suddenly it's great.
Well, it was great from the from the beginning. I mean, and you don't like again with that self-validation piece.
Yeah,
you don't need nobody to tell you what it is. We already knew what it was,
and we already know the rules.
Yeah, and we were doing it. And I know money plays a thing.
It does.
And it can, for good or bad.
It tends to destroy music.
Yeah, it's culture because when the intention went into just that getting paid and all that, it changed. I remember we was talking about fight the power. We were you headed for self-destruction. See, when we was in college. That's what it was about, And
it was motivating. It was very motivating time. The music was telling you that you could be anything. Queen Latifah was being, like, I show old hip hop footage to young people because they could see women fully clothed, being really good at what they do. And it's all about what they know. And that we had a whole different aesthetic then. It was a whole different way that we related to each other. We were on the same side, guys and girls.
Yeah.
Guys actually had respect for us. I mean, there were some songs that were going to be terrible, but by and large, there was we were us.
And it was ladies spitting, they rapping.
Yes, what? Yes,
man.
And so it's gone a different way, and I think it is because when hip hop started making considerable amounts of money, and the record company started understanding that money was on the table and that they should make it, and when hip hop started being listened to by more than just us in our community. That is when it really did change, because then it's serving the needs and the tastes and the proclivities and the assumptions of other people.
Yeah.
They're like, we think black people are like this. And so then the music should reflect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so when music has supplanted, I think, country music as the number one music sold in America.
So I think it happened. And I think something, to me, is bigger than just, it's bigger because I think in the mid-90s, because you got to understand, not only hip-hop, we were coming up on music like Lean On Me, just positive, I believe the children are the future.
Thank you.
And all that. So they begin to, the American culture begin to change.
Yes.
And they used some of our artists to start like this culture with gangsterism and it's very impactful. Like our kids, they're affected by they're affected by the images that they are putting out there.
Oh,
and
definitely.
It's very impactful.
And I think it's very intentional too.
Yeah.
I know that
I
many
think
rappers have said that that after NWA, after things started really being positive, go to school, fight the power, this and that there was a shift and you couldn't get a contract unless you're saying, I'm going to shoot you while drinking and having sex, and this is what people were paying to hear. And I know people were astonished at what NWA was saying and that it was the reality of their community. But I always would say to that, a lot of people lived in harsh realities. A lot of people grew up where there was stuff happening. It's the tone. It's how you view it and what you're saying about it a lot of the time.
I said, we knew when you like I tell kids, they cussed on the bus. We said those same words when you were a kid, but we ain't say in front of Miss Such and Such and Miss Such and Such.
No, absolutely not.
Because of our value system.
Yes.
And you would be embarrassed if you got heard, somebody heard you saying that foul language.
Yeah, even beyond the spankings that will be numerous and plentiful.
Yeah.
But you don't do that. Those are the people. Yeah. You have to respect Miss So-and-so.
Yeah. But I think that I think in order to destroy not only culture, community, country, the first thing is you tear down the value.
Yes.
The moral values. Mm-hmm. And that's why and that's the first step in destroying
it is
a society.
Mm-hmm. Anything goes is the kind of thing now.
Yeah, and so we're seeing a progression of that, and we wonder why, like things are the way they are. I think it was very intentional.
Yes,
and not just a black-white thing, but on a larger level.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think, but it really just does reside because American music, if we're honest. If we look at it, we can just look at the research and the data.
Yeah.
American music almost always. Tell me the music that does not stem from African Americans. That is considered American music.
Yeah.
It's always. And so it's like you have to have control of that. Mm-hmm. Like there's a quote, I don't know who it's from. It says, "Let me make the world's music and I care not who makes the laws." And it's because music is so influential. It so deeply informs what you think and how you feel and what you do.
But the way we can turn it around if we just like I'm doing this show. I didn't ask for permission. I don't know the King's English all that well.
Right.
I just did it.
We do what we do.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
Self-validation.
Yes.
And you just, and I'm saying, so when you stop, and I ain't doing it for money.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it's like, it's when I think that when people start doing things for the right intention, to serve, to help, to make things better, that's how you can turn things around.
Well, see, here's the eternal optimist in me. I do believe. I believe in the students that I teach. I believe they've taught me that not everybody is listening to music that is bad. Not everybody has no moral compass and is doing anything and everything in the world and has no respect. I don't believe that all black boys are just these guys who don't have any future or don't have any, common sense, or they shouldn't be listened to and talked to and respected. We should talk to them. They have a lot to say, and their experience is overwhelming to them sometimes, but they're doing the best they can in a lot of instances. At my school, not many people listen to hip-hop. They listen to a lot of other music, though, and it might be my population because I have African Americans, I have Latinos, we have a lot of people coming from Afghanistan now, but my students, I've had students thank me for teaching them. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow.
I come in, they grab my bags, and they carry them for me. They are polite and respectful, and they want to be taught. You know what I'm saying? And they try. And some of them have come from the horrible situation, the bad background. It's bad at home. But when they come in there, they have a way of being that is respectful, that's beautiful. And so I believe in I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Yes, yeah.
But I do. I see that because like it was a bad thing that children grew up with there's no curtain. There's no separation. Everything is available to them. That's a burden. That's not good.
Yeah.
If you're in 5th grade and you can know everything, you know what grooming is, and you're in the 5th grade, you've seen people get killed online, and you're in the 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 8th grade. They've seen so many things, but I think one of the things that happened is it made them stop and have judgment and realize the thing you're saying. I can choose. I can choose what I listen to, and I can choose what I believe, and I can even choose to make a difference. I can become politically active. Then some of them are they know what's going on. They come in, so Ms. Brown, are we going to get bombed because Ukraine and Russia? Is that happening?
Yeah.
Are we going to die? And I'm like, yo, you know about that?
Yeah.
They also come in and they talk about Amapiano. They talk about Afro beats. They talk about bachata. They talk about these different art forms, these different musical forms that I didn't know a lot about, but now I do. They like, my daughter likes bossa nova. My son, he listens to all kind of, he sends me little music excerpts and says, this reminds me of you, or this reminds me of things you sang, or what would you think about this, Ma? You know? And so they have an insight that we don't have.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think so.
Well, I've come, because I teach on the elementary. So I've learned that teaching is about planting seeds.
Yes.
And as teachers, we like to get the immediate result but I know hopefully that I plant, and hopefully that down the line when they get to middle school and high school, they can, they can relate to something maybe they had, and then keep it going. So that's why we teach.
That is the hope of the teacher.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And I'm doing this now, and you don't know why. And I'm saying this to you now, and you might not. You just doing like this. And you will hear my voice in the future.
They beat me up.
Yes. No, you're sending them into the future with something. You're saying, here you go. Yeah.
I go back into the battle zone and say, one day at a time.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, no, but I think with teaching it is important, and you can do that through music. To my surprise, when I played Bill Withers' "Lean on Me," the effect that it had on my students, I watched them. I watched their faces, and they were really struck by it, and it made them very emotional. Yeah, and they can still feel that. And I was like, watch him do this, and listen to his voice, and listen to what he's saying. And then they wrote about it, and they were like, it made me feel like if you can't make it, you need somebody, and you should have somebody to be there for you. It made me feel, and they expressed their feelings about it, and they got what that song was about.
Wow.
And they liked it.
Yeah.
So, exposing
So you
them,
think they need to be exposed?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And not in a condescending way, but in a conversational way. What do you have? And they showed me this song. I learned about the Mild High Club, which is this retro group that I love because of my students online. I was like, somebody tell me a song, what should I play? And they would write it in the chat.
Wow.
And I would play the songs. I have to vet it because you can't just play anything. The next week I'll come back and say, oh, I like that one. And I would have them, what's the song that you do this to? What is the song that does this for you? And they would send me lists, and I would listen to the songs. I learned a lot of music. I learned a lot of things from them.
I see greatness in them.
Oh, yeah.
And, my oldest son, he's very talented. I mean, got a gifted, but I learned how to let him find his way because he can't tell him that he don't want to hear nothing from Dad.
No, that is also true.
Go ahead, show me how you do it. And
sometimes you can't say anything.
Hey,
it's a waste.
Yeah. Well, one thing about my mom allowed me to travel my own path. She didn't tell me to go left. She gave me good values. Right. But in terms of what I wanted to do, like since I was 10, I was pursuing music. So I never considered failure. Right. I never considered, this. I was just chasing this at 10. And my mother, she went into jazz and stuff, but she didn't have to tell me to practice, but she allowed me to follow. Right. This wherever and
so music. You knew.
Huh?
You knew.
I didn't know. I believed.
What I mean is, you knew that one of your identities is you are a musician. You and music are like this.
I just knew how it made me feel. I knew it. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that this was something that felt good. Yes. Learning how to be, and I also knew that, doing this, you can get praise. People clap and say you can encourage me. Oh, you sounding good, and and then you see people who are more advanced than you, and that just motivates you to go in the woodshed and practice more. That's all I knew.
Yes.
And I didn't know about the industry, the music industry. I didn't know, I mean, going back, if I knew certain things, I probably went in a different direction. I went to school with Boys to Men.
What?
Questlove.
What?
Christian McBride, Joe DeFrancisco.
Wow.
Then I got to Howard, and P. Diddy was on campus. This before he was P. Diddy.
Yeah. You
And
just
I was roommates with Shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I remember Garfield and him.
I'm trying to produce, and I'm like, hold on. I'm trying to be a jazz musician, and all the money's, and I'm saying, and all these cats getting, and I'm like, and so by the time I figured out the music industry and how to think, the music industry changed.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
and I'm at a crossroads with that myself now. Do you do the thing that is, this is what these people like, or do you do the thing that you like that makes you most happy? Do you go on a different path that's somewhere in between that? What do you do?
Well, I'm at a point. It's about, I do what I feel.
Yeah.
Because it's about legacy. There are different ways to make money. If you want to do that, but I still want to be a great musician.
Me too.
And I'm still not there yet. And so
me too.
And so that's it's an intrinsic kind of thing, but I've always had that.
Yeah.
But when you didn't know when you was pursuing music, all the politics of music and all the this and that comes along. That's some stuff you just part of what it is.
Well, I made certain decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I made decisions that I would be a principled musician. I was not going to sell out anything, especially not myself, for money. There's other things other than money.
Yeah.
That my children really grounded me in that too, because it's about dying peacefully. Like you understand what I mean? Yeah. When I lie down to die, and then having my mother become an ancestor recently is reinforced this and made me think of the world entirely differently.
Yeah.
With more, because I will at a time not be here, and hopefully my children will still be here and they'll outlive me, because that's the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And there will be a time when I am no more.
Yeah.
I will have to look back on my life and I will have to review it, and I'll be in a position to do that. Mm-hmm. What can I say? What are the things I can live with, and what are the things I can't live with?
Yeah.
I can't live with, I was never there for my children.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped doing some of the musical things because I needed to be there for them.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be where they had to try to find me and mom's not here. I could have probably done it and it would have been okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, so I was just going with what's important to me.
Yeah.
I can handle, because when you love music and you're an artist, it is the most important thing. It's your relationship with the music. It's what it does for you and what you can do with it and to other people.
Yeah.
I can handle not being the most well-known person in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be known as a mediocre musician. That's worse to me. That's worse.
No doubt.
I can't live with that. You're going to have to say that. When you heard me sing, man, when she got up there, she gave her all. You could feel it right here. It was just huge.
Yeah.
She was doing all that she could do. She was the high one and the low. She was. That song, man. You could see her trying to do that thing. She gave her heart on that one. You have to be able to say that for me.
What's heavy to me is I never knew Charlie Parker personally.
Right.
I never knew John Coltrane personally.
Right.
But it's through their music that I feel like I know them. Mm. Like I can almost. I know Bird's personality. Like you're
your relative.
Yeah, because it's through what they left behind that survived.
Yes.
So
and their ethic.
Yeah. So to me, when I say legacy, I like the fact that, like I did my first record in 2002, and I don't barely listen to it, but every now and then I might go and listen. I'm like, wow, that's where I was at in that moment in time, and it's fresh because I ain't been listening to it.
Right.
And so I want to leave some pebbles along the road.
Yes.
So maybe somebody can say, whoa. In fact, this happened last week. I had a buddy of mine who's in New York and in a Uber.
Oh.
And the cat driving on the radio, they played one of my tunes from my first album. And my boy's in the back seat, like, he knows my album because he has it. And he's like, that's my boy. And then the Uber driver was also a musician and had a trumpet and started playing along with my recording. I got it on YouTube.
That's so nice.
And he taped it from the back seat.
What?
And I'm like, that's what it's about.
That is what it is about.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Yes. It's like when you put it out in the world, you don't know where it's going.
You don't.
And that's what I'm saying. If you putting out good music,
Quality.
you can be paid in so many other ways than by money.
Exactly.
So my intention for doing things is really not money. I like money, but see, I know how to get money because there's a law. You give, the universe brings it back to you. So that ain't. But I want to put out something that resonates.
Yes.
And you don't know where it's going in the world.
Right.
And that was just a moment a snapshot that God said, see, this is what you did in 2002. And it's still giving it still touches some people.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
I had to learn that too because well, first of all, let me just pause because if my husband were watching this, he would be saying yes, and that album is one of my favorite albums. And when he came to the jam session that we did recently, you played one of the songs, and he was like, yes, in his mind, because he listens to your album.
Really?
That one you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And some of his favorite music in there he's a big Coltrane fan. He's really big on, we go to see Sonny Rollins when he was in town, all these different people. But there's some songs on there that if he could hear them live and you were really playing it right there in the room, he'd be the happiest person ever.
Wow.
And it does touch him.
Wow.
And so same thing for me.
It means, yeah.
No, when I listen to music, that's quality. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
When I play with you, I'm on the sideline just listening to the quality. And then the way that you interact with the audience, you're like ebullient. You're like the sun. Like the warmth of you just goes to your audience. And it's just a pleasure to watch and play from and learn from.
Well, what I learned, I think that to Mr. Irby. He said, what time I was on
Fred Irby.
I was on campus, and for some reason he came up to me and said, all men are not created equal. And when he said that, it like a light went off. And I say, I know people fighting for equality and all this stuff, but I don't think that exists. I think you have to find what's your special thing is, your competitive advantage, and be that.
And do it to the max.
Yes. And I've always had a positive personality since I was a kid. Anybody that know me back in the day, I've always been that. And so that becomes me when I'm on stage.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't the tallest guy, I wasn't this, I wasn't that, but I had, you got to do that. And so that's what I learned is that, like, you find your unique self and become your unique self, and that's what you present. And nobody can outdo you being you.
Nope.
You did?
And it's so important for vocalists to know. Because everybody else, all the instrumentalists have an advantage because they play something that is not themselves. You can put your horn down. It's in a case. It's not even here right now. Right?
Yeah.
My instrument is always with me and is me in a way. And vocalists have a hard time with that. You can't tell a vocalist that they need to be more on pitch or that they need to work on this or whatever.
Really? Wow. They take it personal?
I have to really say, if I'm teaching a vocalist, I say, listen, I'm not personally attacking you. Your instrument is one thing, and you are, okay? It's not you as a person. It's a separation you have to do because it is us. It's right here. But it's not, you have to realize just because you might have a great instrument, but you don't know how to play it. Just like a saxophonist can have a great instrument and not know how to play it. It could be one of the best horns. Oh, it's just so resonant. It sounds great when that guy plays it. When you play it, not so much, right? So, but we have to learn how to play this magnificent instrument. And you might have a great one, but you still have to learn. A lot of times vocalists miss that. I'm glad for the Howard experience of being around a lot of instrumentalists because the work ethic transferred to me.
Speaking of Howard, what made did you go to Howard right out of high school?
Yes, I only applied to like Howard.
Really? What made you choose Howard?
I was working in Jacksonville, and I'm a northerner in a southern town, and it was ill-fitting. I wasn't happy there. It's nice. I love my family. I like the people there. Florida is beautiful. I'm kind of a city person though. I like excitement. I like to get places in 10 minutes. But I was working at a gold shop. Fun fact, I can make jewelry. I'm a jeweler. I'm a goldsmith. I can make, if you give me a design, I can make that for you in 3D in gold. A ring, a necklace, a nameplate. In the crack era, I used to make these nameplates, the big ones that
Really?
the drug dealers used to come in. And I would make these big nameplates, and I would diamond cut it and emboss it
Really?
and do
Wow.
I made once a playing card, a King of Hearts, all studded with diamonds and rubies and all this.
Wow.
And I made like a playing card. I made it bigger than a card, and I engraved all the stuff. Like you work it out in wax, and you cast it into gold. So I can do that. So I was working at that gold shop, and because of the crack era, also all the stuff I would make would always come back in with somebody else's hands. Because that guy, he's either dead or in jail.
Wow.
Yes. So they melt it down, make something else. Melt it down, make something else. That tells you about that. That's one of the telling things that I remember about the crack era, the 80s, the late 80s. But so, I was in Florida at that shop, and the guy there, who turned out to be my cousin, little did I know, but he said, you seem like a Howardite. You seem like a person, you do well at Howard. You seem like the kind of person, like a go-getter, like you like to just do stuff. Like you, and it's Howard's like that. And you should go there. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, you would be, if it's in design, you should probably be an architect or something, architectural engineer.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, really? What you say, really? And so when I didn't have a lot of guidance at that moment of schools. And I was like, well, Howard. And I filled it out, and they said yes.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's providential. I had gone one time on a trip to D.C. when I was younger, and I saw Howard. They took us to Howard. And I just, in the back of my mind, somebody said, ding, you like D.C., you love the history of it, you love all these old buildings, you love, and this building here, and Howard, they're talking about it, it's very interesting. You could go to school here.
Wow.
And then I came back and went to school.
I had a similar experience. I didn't know nothing about how. I had a teacher that was an alumnus. She paid for me to visit. And when I was visiting, the Howard University Jazz Ensemble was playing at Crampton Auditorium. John Malachi just passed. And I heard Kevin Levi. And I was done. Only place I chose.
Howard.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about an HBCU. But yeah, so you say Providence, Divine. Yeah.
And I was in Florida. I was not going to. I could have gone to FSU. I could have gone to FAM.
Wow.
I was like,
and you met your husband at Howard as well.
I did. I sure
did.
did.
He's a musician as well.
He is.
You play West African drums.
So my husband at Howard, he was in the engineering building over there with the people who, fix things and help us make the world go round. God bless him. I really love and appreciate his mind. Oh, it's so fun to be with someone who can think the way that he does. But one other thing about him, he's very culturally, sensitive, interested. So he went to Crampton and heard the African drummers and dancers one day and was like, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. And he found the person and said, how do I learn that?
Wow.
And so my husband can play the rhythms of West Africa, like Guinea, Senegal, that area.
Oh, wow. So he went deep in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like Malinke rhythms, like, when you see people playing djembe, if they're playing Dunumba or Sonsonne or those rhythms, I know them because of him.
Wow.
I can dance the dances because I would just hang out with him and the people who are around, and there's a dance class.
So you dance as well?
I dance, but I didn't dance with a company.
Okay.
But and you just it's just like transfer of knowledge. If I'm sitting here doing this and then you're right there, I'm like, what you doing? I know how to string a djembe somewhat because of him. I know this is Dundun, this is Songba, this is King. Those things, because of him, the friends he had, Aido Holmes, shout out, who brought West African dance to the D.C. area and probably to the United States in a sense.
Wow.
But meeting him and seeing how he was into it, and then meeting the dancers and watching everything happen and learning.
And y'all perform together a lot?
My husband and I?
Yeah.
We have. It's interesting because then he went on to, he's a D.C. guy. So he's born in D.C. So congas, so go-go.
Yeah, go-go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And funk.
Okay.
He's a funketeer.
Okay.
And made me one. Because I wasn't, I'm listening to I'm preacher's daughter. I'm listening to all the gospel music. I don't know these things. Motown, what? Oh, the sinful, the Lord, right? So, but he would put stuff on. That was part of our courtship. It's slapping down these songs. He'd be like, what about that? Listen to that. And I'd be like, well, so, okay. But did he know? He's like, well, you over here, And so we would just be doing that a lot. And I was like, what song is this?
Yeah.
I was like, George Clinton, this ain't nothing but this is gospel music with a beat on it. Like if the blues went and you got high slightly, And he was like, I don't listen to any Louis Armstrong. And then I put it on. And he was like, oh, I see your point. And then I would let him listen to other people. And he was like, because he's a Coltrane guy.
Okay.
Maybe Charlie Parker, definitely Coltrane.
Yeah.
And I really love Dexter Gordon because as a vocalist, Dexter sings.
Yeah.
He's more of that.
Yeah.
John Coltrane can't do that.
Yeah.
John Coltrane, for my theoretical understanding, listening to him was good. But Bird probably did more for me in the philosophy of music. Really. Because Bird says you can get anywhere from anywhere. There's no limit. You don't have to walk in the crosswalk.
Yeah.
Who said the straight line is the best way to go? Funk says fun would take the longer way around. So Charlie Parker's not going to go here and there. It's the regular progression. He's going to go like this, and then like that, and then like that, and then end up where he's supposed to be. And so scatting and linking of music, you can be outside of what the norm is, but harmonically and melodically, it can work. Yeah. So I would learn Charlie Parker's solos and stuff. Wow. And I learned Miles' solos.
Really? Wow.
Because Grady Tate told me, if you want to be a good singer, listen to Harry Sweets Edison.
Well, one thing one thing you develop from hearing your story is a great memory.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk about music in terms of memory.
I know.
Because sometimes I'm a great reader, but I got a lazy memory. I got to force myself to memorize something.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have to. Some people, if your memory is like a muscle,
yeah,
you strengthen it by doing it. And now, if I'm in that mode of learning and memorizing, I'm good because my mind can absorb it and retain it. But usually, I'm playing here, so I got to go here and read this part, and and so
that's interesting.
Yeah, but you have a great memory.
Yes,
like when you
I really do.
That's a part of music that people don't talk about, which is really what music is. Music is a mirror of the mind. And so because you have all this memory and you can associate all this, that creates a whole nother experience. And I'm trying to get that.
That's so interesting. I never would have thought that. I never knew that.
Oh, yeah.
Just like people are, I thought people were playing because they had great ears, and they don't. They have great theory.
Yeah. Well, even great, like if you're talking about great ears, yeah, some people have like good ears, but people with perfect pitch is really memory. They remember this. They know that they usually have great memory because they can remember the sound and
Okay, so I do weird stuff like that. One time somebody said, "Oh, will you sing I Try?" And I was like, and I came in on the song. I'm scared to do it now because then everybody would test it out. But at that moment, y'all, I sang, and then the guitarist picked it up because he knows the song. We know, how you have people who know every song.
Yeah.
And he knows what song, the key it's in, and he was like, "You were in the exact key.
Wow.
You came in just on that key."
Yeah.
I'll do that sometimes because I do hear it.
Yeah.
Like you hear an album and you know what the song is next and what key it's going to be
Well,
in.
the thing is, when you sing, you actually have to hear each note. Mm-hmm. When I'm playing saxophone, I can push a button and get beat.
Yes.
So
that
I can play by finger memory, but then I can play by singing each note as I'm playing it and making it one. That's a whole nother kind of thing. That's the things I'm working on.
So that's kind of a flex of vocalists. We have to sing it. We have to know.
Well, when you're singing it, you're hearing it.
Well, yeah, but if you can, piano memory, I've done that. I was surprising myself when I started playing that. I could play stuff. I don't know how I know this. And my hands are doing it, and I'm looking at myself like, what?
So there are different parts of the mind.
Yeah.
They say the right hemisphere and that left hemisphere.
Yeah.
So if you study music, like you study theory, that's the left, I believe, the left side with concrete, but then that abstract piece is when you just it's another kind of ear. So you have your ear. I call it internal hearing and external hearing.
Yeah, audiation.
Internal. Yeah. Like I talked to a guy. His name skipped me now, but anyway, he's a great piano player, prodigy, and I interviewed him. I can't think of his name for some reason. It's gonna come to me, but he doesn't have piano. He said, "Man, I hear the music in my head." Yeah, so he don't need no instrument.
Well, see, yeah, that's okay. So For me, scatting is like that, or singing is like that. I like my relative pitch is great in the sense that I know that I'm singing a second or a third or a minor this or that. I know that. I can hear that. If you're playing that, I'm like, oh, I know what that is. That's why music for me can't be background music, because my mind will attach to it and start taking it apart. Stevie Wonder, he's doing that major minor thing. Oh, this song is that a perfect?
That's your theory kicking in.
Yes. And so I'll be trying to sleep and I can't sleep to music because I'll start thinking. Can you
experience music in your imagination?
Yeah. I can create it and I can hear it.
So
in my imagination.
So
everybody can't do that?
Well, I think everybody can do it to different levels, but school doesn't teach that part. School teaches you the part minor 6, a dominant 7. They teach you all the theoreticals. It doesn't teach you how to experience music in your imagination. So
are you telling me people cannot hear me? I can look at music and it'll sing itself to me.
I think your development was that way. You developed by you learning music, like how you learn is more important. What you learn.
Yeah.
So if I learned by reading music, so if I started out reading music, I'm not necessarily listening. I'm reading notes. My eyes are dictating what I play, not my ears.
Yeah.
And so if I learned that way and really have not learned the intrinsic thing, then I might be a great reader. I might be a great interpreter. It's not that I'm not hearing it, but I'm not developing that. It's a muscle. That intrinsic thing is a muscle as well.
Because I had that experience. Okay, so I was at a church, and the man had been there for 8 years, I think, playing the piano. It's high church, so we got to play some of the same songs. Church, some of the same songs, you have to play them all the time. All things come of thee, O Lord, and other things. And there's this one song. So one thing happened is that he left all his sheet music home.
Yeah, that could be, yeah.
And I was like, but you play it every Sunday.
Yeah, so
you mean you don't know it? And he's like, I read it. And I was so flabbergasted because there's no way that would happen to me.
Yeah. So you know why? Because you synthesize and process it. You learn it. You own it. Like, so he's
But the opposite problem with mine is that I might not be a strong reader, because by the time I play this like the third time, or, even with reading, when we're reading, and I used to have to read with the choral people out of the book. I don't have to look at the book, because by the third time, I know how it goes. Like, why we still have to... But that's just me, how I'm constructed.
That's the way you actually develop learning music.
Yeah.
Like you learn, and so it sticks with you.
Yes.
Some people who
very hard to not hear it.
Huh?
Very hard to not hear it.
Yeah. Some people who learn by reading they're not learning the song. They're just reading the song.
And I did not know that.
Yeah.
And he was not able to.
I'm one of them kind of cats. I got to make myself read. So, like, if you put a Charlie Parker solo in front of me, I'll read it down probably the first time. I may have a little glitch here and there, but do you say, okay, play what you just, it ain't gonna happen.
Really?
Exactly, because that's a different. I'm relying on different parts of your brain, and so when you tell to learn something and to know it and to like memorize it, then you own it.
Yeah.
But just because you play it don't mean you own it. I
really didn't. I thought I think everybody has, like, people with synesthesia thought everybody sees colors when they hear music.
Yeah.
But my daughter, one or both of my daughters.
You said everybody sees color?
Yeah. Like, if you're born that way, it takes you a while to realize that, you don't see colors when you hear music?
No.
But some people do.
Yeah, some people do. Yes.
And they would you assume, everybody, don't you see the purple?
Yeah.
Right? No, I don't. I don't see that. So for me, I thought everybody always heard music and memorized it internally and could hear it. And you look at the page and it goes, da, 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 right? No. And so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it is a thing that for me, it's very nuanced memory. Now, I don't remember everything. Music, I remember.
Yeah.
If I heard that song, I remember.
Yeah.
How it was, if I played it out in stretch, I remember that.
It was how you learned music.
Yeah.
That's why I say how you learn is just important, is what you learn.
Yeah.
If you learn using this left side of the brain, then it's you're going to struggle. You may struggle with the other part.
Right.
Some people that can hear and they can memorize, you put a sheet of music in front of them, they're going to struggle.
Right.
Because they haven't developed that part of their brain in terms of how to process music.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
And I always like the jazz way of thinking because hanging around classical people, I also realized that some people think of music only linear.
Yeah.
This happens, then that happens, then that happens, then that happens, then that happens, then the end.
Yeah.
Jazz people think of things in terms of patterns, the A section.
Yeah.
And then we do this. You look for all the patterns, and it makes it,
Yeah.
instead of the sheet music being 8 pages, it could be 2 or 1.
Yeah.
We just do A, B, A, B, A, C, A, C, A, B,
And
C.
both-
We're done.
And you have to the great musicians master both sides.
Yeah.
They got both sides. Train to me was that.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah, he had that. He had both. Bird was like that too. Bird was just a genius. Some people are genius. Dwayne Adele, that's the name I remember. I couldn't think of his name. Dwayne Adele's the pianist.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? He's a genius. I interviewed him here. He could hear it one time and play it back.
Yeah.
He's like a savant.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I said, man, you don't
I
have no
wanna meet
piano.
him.
He said, no. I hear the music in my head. He
Yeah.
can experience the music in his head, in his
Yes.
imagination.
Yeah.
You know, and but that's if
That's
if
interesting.
you don't think that way, you only hear music when they cut the radio.
Oh no, I have the opposite problem. That if like, here's what happens to me. I hear a song and I like it, or I hear a song and it presented some sort of problem that I can't solve in my mind, or I liked it and I don't know the word. My mind will keep playing that thing back and playing it back and playing it back, trying to figure out what was the third chord, what was this thing, how does that resolve harmonically? You're not singing the right note. What is
That's-
it? How is it? What are the words?
Yeah.
I have to go back and listen just to shut it off.
Wow.
Or it'll play over and over and
Yeah.
over again
So, yeah.
in my mind.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to become. Ralph Peterson told me. He said, "Music is a mirror of the mind." You know, I don't even listen to music in the car because I'm thinking all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm always thinking of whatever,
I see.
and so music will get in the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you. If I hear music, I'm gonna start analyzing.
What was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
My mind is.
Yeah.
So I would never. People go to sleep to music. It better be like the most simple music that I already figured all of it out.
No doubt
But
about it.
if something's in there, I'm up. Like what? So
Let me hurry up. I know you gotta.
Yeah, it's been very good talking to you.
Yeah.
I've learned so much today. I mean, you know.
I just want to ask you a few more questions before we get out of here.
Okay.
How'd you get out on the DC jazz scene?
Well.
I mean, was it a process, or did you graduate from Howard and just say, I want to be a jazz? How did that process happen?
I think that I just was happy to be in a city with live music and a lot of venues. And I did a lot of free stuff, a lot of sitting in, a lot of me making my little charts and coming and trying to do the things with people. And that was a lot of my education. I created opportunities for myself. I used to play at the Islander. Remember
Okay,
that?
yep.
Oh, that food. Yes, Islander. And just different places, wherever something could be done. I did Joplin's when it was in the Howard Hotel. Remember Joplin's?
Yeah. Wow, you go back to the Howard Hotel?
You Gerthas,
yeah.
when it was up there by Walter Reed.
Come on.
Walter Beasley at the One Step Down, who knew every song in every key. That guy. And I would go there and play and sing and stuff. And
Did you go to jam sessions and stuff?
I would go to jam sessions. And I remember musicians. I always laugh because I'm so grateful that musicians are very nice people. Jazz musicians are very nice people and are very mean at the same time, and it's funny. No, no. Why? Because we love the music.
Yeah.
Just don't get up here and you don't know.
No, yeah.
Now stop. Go practice. Learn this stuff. So you're gonna be a vocalist, and you come up here with your little song, and you know the melody. And I know the melody, and I know the little song because I heard Louis Armstrong sing it. Then I get up there with you, and you play the bebop type version of it, and I have no idea what is going on. Where is the song starting? Are we in? Where are we in this song? What song are we in now?
Yeah.
And so I would sing the head. And then they would take solos, and I could never get back in the song because I didn't know how to assert myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be like, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a mean process to stand up there, and you stand up there like a piece of furniture, and because you don't know, you're scared to sing because you don't know if you're right or wrong, and you don't know how to lead.
Do you write your own songs? Like, do you also write?
I do write.
Okay,
I
because
am writing.
I don't know if I've ever heard your original stuff.
I don't think you have.
Yeah. Now your first album was called
Secrets of the Soul.
Yes.
And so
there was a lot of standards in there, right?
It's standards, but it was I had great musicians on there, but it was like my interpretation, my arrangement of those ballads.
Yeah.
And so Michael Bowie helped me out with that a lot. Glenn Douglas helped me out with that a lot. Nasser Abade was on there. James King was on there.
Okay, you had the Cats.
I had the Cats. Michael Bowie's a revelation. Wow. I mean, when I played with him, he made me. I remember where I played with him first. I was at the Islander and I hired him, and he was behind me playing, and I understood what a bass is supposed to do and how you're supposed to feel with a supportive bass player behind you.
Yeah.
Another one is Walter Cosby.
Yes.
It's insane the things he knows and how he can turn a song on his head. Insane. But yeah, so my originals, I write songs and they may or may not be jazz. I write songs based on how and I feel, and people have responded well to them.
Yeah.
My goals for the future, though, is to get better. One of them is to get at singing, better at scatting, but also better at composition, to really understand what textures.
Do you have your own band?
Everybody wants to date. Nobody wants to get married, you know?
Yeah. Well, what I mean by I think you need your own band. You're always gonna be a student. You're always gonna feel like I need to do this. Like you need your own band, meaning doing your own music. This is my opinion.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I believe that. I think because you have. That's the only way you can. Like Nasser Abbey told me this. He said you gotta allow your audience to grow with you. So, doing your own music, let it evolve within the context of your band. And you might have to say, oh, this cat can't make the gig.
Right. Oh, I do have a list. My first call list, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a band, when you, okay, I want to do, this is my music.
Yes.
And this is what I'm going to project. Because you're always going to do little gigs when you're going to do the stand.
Right.
You've done that.
Yeah, it's done everything.
Yeah. And it's I think you should be out there more. I know you had to raise your family. And
It's done. My daughter's my youngest is in college.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, I think you should have your own, you should be like out there with your audience and people coming to hear your music. You know, you could throw a stand in there every now and then if you want to. But yeah, do your own music.
I feel like I'm ready for that.
Yes.
And that's the same conclusion I came to. Thank you so much for telling me that, because it really encourages me. Everything that you've said and your opinion in general. And at my last show, I did take the small step of performing my original song.
Great.
When I perform again, I'm going to do more originals and just take a chance.
Yeah.
So all the songs aren't always good, but some of them are great. And so you just keep doing it. Just have courage.
Self-validation. Just do it. If it sounds good to you, it's good. If it
Okay, thank you, Antonio.
No doubt
seriously.
about it. Yeah, that's my attitude. You don't need,
self-validation. If it sounds good to me, I'm presenting myself, and
Exactly.
I do serve the needs of the audience when I'm hired.
Yeah.
But if I have a show, then I'm telling you me.
When you have a show.
Yes. But then that's when you come to hear me, and I came to that conclusion.
And that's what you should push. I mean, it's good to get and I'm talking to myself as well. So I ain't just talking, but that's what's the next level. It's like having your own music, putting your music out there.
That's what I'm gonna do.
And that's to me is what time it is.
Yes.
And
okay,
so
that's what we're gonna do.
I got one thing.
Thank you.
I had many more. We done went around. We done went over everywhere. But
thank you.
Let's see. Wanted to ask you real quick. How do you balance being a performing artist, an educator, and you do music ministry, a mother and a wife? How do you balance all that?
Oh, by the grace of God.
Okay, great answer. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
One thing that's cool is that I don't have to switch a lot.
Gotcha.
Meaning, my house is musical. My children are musical. They sing.
Yeah.
They play. They do. They're very artistic people, and I like them. Hi, y'all. And I love them. So they would come to gigs. One of my crowning moments was being on stage and realizing that my son and my daughter are over there on the chairs at Westminster. There's some side chairs, and they're sitting there on their phones, chilling. But they wanted to come to the gig because they like music and they like to be in my presence and they like to be where I'm singing.
Wow.
So they're on stage with me. They're not really seeming like they're listening that much.
Yeah.
But it's just the family aspect that they're here.
Yeah.
And they belong here. And they
doubt.
like this.
Yeah. No doubt.
I'm a mom while being a singer right in front of your face. So, and then my husband, we play together. We feed each other musically. That I'm a musician and I bring my musical experience from being an actual working musician into the classroom to help develop musicians.
Yeah.
You know a musician when you see him. That boy who just loves. He comes at lunchtime. He doesn't want to eat. He wants to play. Oh, she wants to know everything. She's looking in your mouth as you talk about singing. Or you're giving this gift of music to children to show that you're beautiful and that if you try, you can get better at things. Even if you're not a musician, practicing is magical. And it strengthens children. It makes their brain stronger. So all of those things go into, that's what I want to give. I want to give that to my students. Give them performance opportunities, create stuff for them. And I do that. We did Oye Como Va. The girl brought her guitar in.
Wow.
I taught them how to play the congas because my husband taught me how to teach that. And we had everybody was playing something.
No doubt.
And, just like that. So just put it all together and just keep just rotating it. But it's on the same plane. It's all music. It's all music all the time.
doubt.
And that helps it. If I was some other thing, data analyst or something, that might be harder.
Yeah.
The one thing that has gotten shorted is my career and my creative side. And I have learned that you have to be selfish with yourself and your creative time and your creative space.
No doubt.
You have to say, I'm now closing this door. I will not be disturbed for the next several hours while I get my thoughts together and create something.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
that creating, that self-validation you're talking about, but creating is wonderful. It's hard and it's painful and it's scary. But I will now create and nothing will get in the way of me doing this.
No
I
doubt.
will do this and I will do it. I'll see it through to the end. I will take my idea and I will bring it into the world.
Beautiful.
That's where I am now. That's that's who I'm trying to be. So it was off balance, but now I'm bringing that side up, and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that giving your entire self away is bad.
Yeah.
Is a bad example for your children. Because they'll think, I'm supposed to have dreams, but then if I have other people, then they should be more important than no, they shouldn't.
That's right.
If you love somebody, you love their dreams. If you support them through that, do you know who they really are? If I suppress a part of myself to make you happy, do you really know me? So that's now the lesson I want my children to know.
Gotcha.
That I'm going to be my actual self. I'm going to try. I'm going to move forward. I did my last show because of them. They don't know that.
Wow.
I was like, I have to let my children know that
So-
I can create. I can still do like, you know what I mean? Like I'm being the me that they know me as.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hope for me to be.
Wow.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Okay. So what's next for Sendy Brown?
That thing we just said. I'm dead serious. I'm going to start every time. I did this with talking to my audience. I wasn't good at it. I was like, every time I come out here, I'm going to say something else. And pretty soon the stage is going to feel like my living room. And every time I see a microphone, it's mine.
Yeah.
And
Come
that's
on.
how it is.
Talk to him.
Right?
All right.
And now when I go and say, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming. My name is Sendy Brown. I'm so happy to be here. And all of that stuff was hard.
Okay. Yeah.
My hand would be shaking and I had to hold it with the other hand.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
wouldn't look at the audience. And I don't have anything to say. I just want you to
Yeah.
hear me sing. And then I'm going to run off stage because I don't want you to talk to me about it because I'm too shy.
Wow.
And now I'm a whole different person.
Yeah. No doubt.
So every time I do a show, I'm going to include more and more of my original music. It's a promise I'm keeping to myself. I copyrighted my song. It made me feel really good.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to keep doing this. Next time it'll be 3 original songs. Next time 4.
Yeah.
Maybe next time a whole first set of
Yeah.
just songs I
and
wrote.
whatever style it is, it is.
It is what it is.
Jazz. See, I don't believe in that.
Me
everything
neither.
of it. You could add a little bit of that, put a little groove on there, and do the whole
Anything
shebang.
you
We'll
want.
be good. It's music.
Because self-validation. You said it,
No
man.
doubt.
And
So, last question.
Okay.
How can people, and you can look in the camera, how can they contact you or get to know what you're doing, or you on social media? How do you do that?
Okay, y'all, my social media is suffering because I don't really do that, but I'm learning. And so you can find me, but you would have to know how to spell my name. And my name is Sendy, like Sendy, like you send a letter, like Wendy, but with an S, like Sandy, but with an E. And I'm Sendy Brown. I am performing in the area. You can look for me. My website has my dates listed. I do have an Instagram. I think it's Sendy Brown Music. And on Facebook, Sendy Brown Music. And I promise I'm going to keep up with it now because now I'm coming back out and performing again. And so I want to see people people at the show. I want you to come back, and I need you to support me and give me the good energy and forgive, my growing process and my learning process there, and be there for it. I have a great audience. I have a great following of people who I'm very grateful for. They come out.
Yeah.
I did my last show. I thought I didn't know what was going to happen, but it was full. It was seats down the aisle.
Wow.
And so I've learned that they are there to hear me, and they believe in my voice and my talent and whatever energy I have that I give. And I just have to believe as much as they do,
No doubt about it.
and have that confidence to present what's really me, my compositions to the world. And so I hope to see you there. I promise you it will be some good singing. It will be a vibe, and you will get a lot out of it. I will sing those songs that you like, and I'll sing some of my stuff so you can get to know me in a whole other way. So Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this time with us. I learned a lot about you.
I learned a lot about you.
We've known each other for over 30 years.
Yes.
Wow, time flies. But
yes, I know.
And,
okay, right.
We got some hits coming up, but
yes.
And I'm looking for hearing that original music. And,
yes.
And all the great things I know that's going to be coming as a result of that.
Exactly, and
thank you again.
It's really encouraging to be on the show, and I hope it continues because you're doing a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for everything today. you. Thank you.
Thank you. There it is, the lovely vocalist, Miss Sendy Brown, right here on A Conversation in Jazz.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next one.